You know, what it's about is I've stood for blacks. I've signed petitions for blacks. But nobody is defending white Africans. There's been over 70,000 of them killed since the end of apartheid, and nobody stands for them. Franz has stood for Tattoo Billy. He's a great friend of mine. I got in this whole movement because of this guy. I gave my heart at very few things over the years, and I'll be the first one to say it. I gave my heart to 3 women, and I gave my heart to God, and I gave my heart to this cause, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing tonight. So I appreciate you guys showing up.
Good afternoon. It's nice to see that you've all come around here to support people that you don't know, never met before, and probably never will meet. But I can tell you one thing, that the people that have died in South Africa over the last almost 20 years has been horrific. And very few people actually believe that this is happening in South Africa. If I go around, as I've been around in America and spoken to a few people about it, they look at me like they don't believe what I'm trying to tell them. So I just refer them, like I referred the lady just now, is it Sandra, I think? Sandy? I refer them to a website. Just go and look for yourself. Go to Google and just Google farm murder South Africa, and there you'll see it's all there. So many people like we standing around here right now will be having this same function in South Africa, and we'll be having fun, having something to eat, and having something to drink, and 2 or 3, or shall I call them terrorists, will run in here with the AK-47s, and they all tell you to lie on the floor. They'll take everything you've got off you. They'll take your wallets, every money. They'll take your rings and your watches, and they'll just shoot 1 or 2 of you just for fun. And then they'll run off with what they took and leave you here. And that's the way it happens in South Africa. That happens in suburbs like this. And on the farms are even worse. Ed and his wife will be sitting inside his farmhouse at night, and outside they'll have dogs. These black terrorists, they poison the dogs. Most of the time it's these actual workers that work for him that think that he's got too much money because he's the boss, he owns the farm. But he's giving them work and he's letting them stay on their farms for free. He's probably paying them what you call minimum wages. But this is not what they want. When they want more money and they don't get more money, they get upset. The next thing you know, you read in a newspaper or you hear from somebody, because the newspapers are clamping down on it. You hear that the farmer and his wife was murdered in their homes. Then you go and try and find out the whole story, and you find out that the farmer was brutally butchered before he was killed. The woman was raped, and in some cases they cut her open and they pull out her insides. They do all horrible things. They burn the woman. And the worst part, which I as a man cannot handle, because I have a wife that I love very much, they make you watch this, and I don't want this to happen to my wife. And even when I told Kathy that we're coming to America, and our friends are saying to us, but why are you going to America? There's hurricanes, there's tornadoes, there's earthquakes. You're going to die there from one of those things. And my wife turns around and tells them she would rather die in a natural disaster than die the way the white women have to die in South Africa. Now, we don't all die every day. It doesn't happen every day, but I just read on the internet yesterday or the day before that 47 people this month have already been killed. Talking about white people, where in the world have you heard that 47 white people have died already in 1 month, been murdered in their homes or in the streets? Granted, there are black people also dying, but blacks are killing black people, but they're not killing whites for that reason. They're killing whites to get rid of them. And nobody's stopping them. The government doesn't care. They're just calling it normal robberies. If you read the news, every time I said there was a robbery, an attempted robbery, but people were murdered. I mean, we've seen little babies. They take little babies by the legs and knock them against the walls, and they leave them on the floor to die. So all these things are happening, and Ed has come along and he's made contact with South Africans, and you know, I spoke to Ed this morning and I said to him that he's doing such a good thing, because most people in South Africa feel like there's no hope for them, because you know that you don't read about this in newspapers, you don't see this on CNN, you don't see it on Fox, not even Fox puts anything of this on. Nobody talks about it. So those people feel desperate, absolutely desperate. They feel like there's no hope for them. So along comes Ed, and they feel so relieved that somebody from outside South Africa, and especially America, they feel like connected with Ed now, because he's standing behind you. He's given them some kind of hope, even though Ed might not be able to do much for them. They just feel so alone anymore, that some contact has been made and they feel like their story is going to be told somewhere else, and that's what Ed is doing. So Ed doesn't even realize how much he's done for them. And the fact that you've come along here today, granted, a lot of people couldn't make it, but it's difficult to get people to come together. People have always got better things to do. I'm so happy that Ed has invited us, and I'm happy that I've met you all. When I go back to South Africa, I'll talk about you all, and I'm just thankful that you have opened up something for the South Africans back home, to give them some hope that they're not alone in all of this. They don't expect you to do anything for them. They don't expect you to come out there and save them. They're just happy that there's somebody that'll listen to what's happening in South Africa right now. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Are you ready? You all want to come stand around us?
The good thing I was glad is Franz and Kathy Moritz showed up tonight. This whole event was for them.
Can anybody take a balloon? I don't want to let go without... Oh, hold on, yeah.
I tried to get brown red ones, but didn't have none.
Well, these are perfect. Go as far as to say that he's died in South Africa.
You got blood on your hands.
For the Boer folk, that's the Boer folk of South Africa. That's what we're releasing these balloons for. All the victims of genocide.
For the Boer folk. And the people who've died. And still, maybe right now. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to Ed and to everybody out today, this evening.
70,000 people, like you said, over the past 20 years. Just to really get you an idea that the population of Hamilton, Ohio is 63,000 people.
How much?
63,000. So there has been more people senselessly murdered in Africa in the past 20 years than the population of Hamilton, Ohio. So that gives you a little food for thought. That's a lot of human beings. In 2011, our president, Barack Hussein Obama, took ANC off of the U.S. terrorist list. Since then, ANC members have been welcomed into the United States. They've been welcomed into our government-funded colleges, scholarships, teaching positions. So, with that being said, you can see what's going to happen in the future. It's just to be prepared and be ready. Know what's really going on. Don't be blind. Holding a blind eye right now to what's going on in South Africa is only going to hurt us too. So that's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. James, we thank you for coming out. This guy did a lot for this event. Brought a lot of ice out, put a lot of money, brought steaks, hot dogs along with it.
Hey, thank you all for coming out. Everybody.
We thank everybody.
All you Africans in the house, throw your hands up and make a fist. We about to resist. All you Africans in the house, throw your hands up and shout it out to France, Maurice. Wild child, wild child, wild child, wild child, wild child. Never learn.